Hello, I'm Antonis from Soundfellas. In this video, I'm going to show you a very simple but nifty trick that cannot be achieved with any other soundboard, soundscape generator, or spatial audio engine, be it an app or a website. And that is defining the acoustic character of an area with sounds from another area by using occlusion in Echotopia Soundscape Designer. You may think, come on, what's so special about that? Why would I want that? Well, because simply, this would give you great creative freedom as a dungeon master, allowing you to create more lifelike and immersive acoustic environments, and also save you time and effort by being able to define the sound of multiple enclosed areas at once. Because here's the thing, a lot of places in our day-to-day lives and our day-to-day adventuring do not make any sound by themselves. The empty room of a house, a basement, a cellar, the bowels of a ship, an abandoned structure, a closet. Areas like that will be defined acoustically predominantly by sounds coming from outside them. Wind, rain, people's voices, creatures, vehicles, stuff like that, which will be dampened and filtered by the walls of said areas. So, why don't we start with a demonstration and see how this works in action, yeah? I'm already in Echotopia's live mode, so I'll just place the observer here, in this large area with the furnaces, benches and stuff. As we can hear, it's a very industrial-like area. It has roaring fires from the furnaces, lots of machine beats, steel bursts, chains rattling, hammer hits, the works. Let's move over to the armory next door. We can still hear the forge, but now it sounds muffled and at a much lower volume. As it should, since there's a hefty wall separating the room, right? Let's head over to the entrance of the forge now. It still sounds kinda dampened, but not as much as when we were inside the armory. Makes sense. Since the area is not entirely closed off from this side, there is a gate that leads in and is open. Okay, so let's exit live mode and let's enter the scene editor so I can show you what I've done. Right, as you can see, the setup is fairly simple. I only have 3 areas in total: the forge, the armory, and the entrance. Of the 3, only the forge has any sound in it. I made its main area big enough to cover this room, the furnaces, people and stuff, and the fade zone big enough to cover all of the map. Big enough that it extends even outside the boundaries of the map actually. And in fact, I could make it extend even more. And it's over 9,000. Dragon Ball Z references aside, it is worth noting the capability of creating so large areas in Echotopia, because that allows you to cover a lot of ground on any map you happen to be making, even with a single area. Okay, enough goofing about, let's bring it back to a more normal size. The other 2 areas only have occlusion impulse response in place, so let's take a closer look, starting with the forge. Okay, real quick, I've used sounds from the factory plants and industrial machines and the mechanical workshops ambience kits, as well as the rigid metal hits and movement sound effects library to create a few loopers and randomizers. Let's listen to them real quick. Some furnaces here. Press. Some mechanical guts. Steam bursts, few metal hits, and some chain rattling. Nice and busy. I've also used the reverb impulse response, again from factory plants and industrial machines ambience kit, to make the forge area sound bigger. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of the video, the areas with occlusion. I've made them both to be rectangular, because it better matches the shape of our rooms. And I've also deactivated the fade zones, because occlusion only takes place inside the main area of a zone that has an occlusion impulse response in place, so we don't need them. In the armory, I have used the stone occlusion impulse response from the Medieval Towns and Villages ambience kit, and I have set its wet dry at 75, because this particular impulse response is quite drastic. Let me start the simulation and tweak the wet dry so I can show you how much it affects the sound coming from outside of this area. Okay, move the observer into the armory first. I'll set the occlusion at 0 so it has no effect. And decrease it a bit. And some more. And all the way up to 100. Quite drastic, huh? Okay, let's stop the simulation and examine the entrance area. So then, here I have used the thick metal plate occlusion impulse response from the factory plants and industrial machines ambience kit, and I've set the wet dry at 60. I want the sound coming from the forge to be dampened somewhat, but not so much as in the armory, because there is an opening in the form of this open gate that would allow some sound to escape outside. I'm going to go ahead and do what I did earlier in the armory and start the simulation. Move the observer to the entrance area. And I'll play with the wet dry again. Let's bring it down to 0. Increase it a bit. And some more. And all the way to the maximum. And let's stop simulation. Well then, done. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit that like button, leave a comment with what other scenes you'd like to see, and subscribe to get updates on new videos for Echotopia, ambience kit libraries, and more. See you in the next one.